Hare Krishna, my dear Prabhus, dear Matajis. Could you see and hear me clearly? Okay na, yan. Sige, there was a glitch again sa Zoom. So, good morning. Sound check again, sound check. Hare Krishna. So, yes, you know the drill, everyone. Good morning first. Back in Jonah, Chandrika Radha Mataji, Moksha Lakshmi Mataji, Riza Mataji, Paolo, Prabhu, back in Chantal Mataji, back to Oliver, Prabhu Hare Krishna, back to Rodel, back to Naimi, back to Rolly, and back to Levi. Hare Krishna. And we should be in the right mood in entering the realm of the study of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So join me as we recite the invocation mantras. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Prayashva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. I offer my obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudev. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the Personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Hare Krishna, good morning, Navadip Chandra Prabhu. I'll just have to unmute you. Yan, co-host na. Awesome.
Hare Krishna, good morning, everyone. So, we are here now in Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter 1, and now we are in the text 12. So, let's see what's the message. It says here, what Sukadeva Goswami is talking. What is the value of a prolonged life, which is wasted, inexperienced by years in this world? Better a moment of full consciousness, because that gives one a start in searching after his supreme interest. Hmm. So, as we can see, Sukadev Goswami is telling to Maharaj Pariksit that it's better to to say it, it's better to live the life that he says here, the supreme interest, which is we live a life with the interest of the supreme, which is a devotional service or connecting our relationship to him. He says here in a purport of Prabhupada, Srila Sukadeva Goswami instructed Maharaj Pariksit about the importance of chanting of the holy name of the Lord by every progressive gentleman in order to encourage the king who had only 7 remaining days. Srila Sukadeva Goswami asserted that there is no use in living hundreds of years without any knowledge of the problems of life. So yes, the main thing is actually is saying here is Sukadev Maharaj Pariksit, you are not unfortunate. And he's saying that, oh, what is the value of a prolonged life? That there's no connection with the supreme being. So it's just accumulating. If we don't have anything connection in God consciousness, is we are just like uh, accumulating karmas, and that karmas is binding here in this material world. Now, rather, it's like a tree. It's just deep rooted in the on the ground, and the only business is sucking water. That's it. His sole existence is just sucking water. So what is the value of that? So, and then it says here, what you can do is you have to hear everything up to yeah, text 12. So the thing here is, actually he will say it in the what it means here is, actually he's glorifying indirectly. You must connect your connection with the supreme, and glorifying the Krishna Katha indirectly. And then later he will said it directly, that it says here in text 13, uh, you are not unfortunate, Maharaj Pariksit, that you are, how to say it, oo nga no, naka-read away ako. So, ang kailangan mong gawin, Maharaj Pariksit, is uh, hindi ka unfortunate. To make you example, this papasok dito yung text 13. Text 13 is, the saintly king Katvanga, after being informed that the duration of his life would be only a moment more, and at once freed himself from all material activities and took shelter of the supreme safety, the personality of Godhead. So, because if you don't know, Maharaj Katvanga is he is he is described in the ninth canto actually, and he is a good fighter. He is a powerful fighter that even the demigods ask him to fight for them in their behalf. Then actually he did it well. And then the demigods ask, what do you want in return? Everything we will give it to you because we are pleased to you. So what do you want in return? He said, I don't wala akong gustong anything na gusto. Ang gusto ko lang malaman ngayon is uh, how much more, how much longer I have to live. Okay. Hanggang kailan pa ako mabubuhay? Ngayon, sinabi ng demigod, a moment. He says here, the saintly king, after being informed that the duration of his life would be only a moment more, at once freed himself from all material activities and took shelter of the supreme safety, the personality of Godhead. So, actually, sabi niya nga sabi nga ni Maharaj Pariksit, ni Sukadev Goswami, o sino ngayon? Niisip mo, Maharaj Pariksit, you may be unfortunate. Mas unfortunate pa nga si King Katvanga, kasi moment na lang, ikaw meron kang 7 days. Kaya mo pang mag-prepare before, after yung 7 days. But actually, ang real fortunate or real fortune is we must know our nature and who we are. And eto na naman tayo, sasabihin na, like sa sinasabi ni Prabhupada na, who are we? Yun yung isang fortunate na pwede nating malaman na sino ba tayo. We are not this body, we are spirit soul. So what is the duty of the spirit soul? And we are not uh, this material world, even heavenly planet, the higher planetary system, even the low, middle planetary system, which is Earth, and even the hellish planetary system. That's all material world. So we are not the natural hindi tayo taga dito. This is not our natural habitat. So the spirit soul is natural habitat na isa sa spiritual world with Krishna. So in that way, magkakaroon tayo, yung sinasabi ni Sukadeva Goswami, kung hindi ako taga dito, then magkakaroon ako ng supreme interest, which is what is the interest of the supreme and anong kailangan kong gawin. So gagawin ko yung dapat kong gawin. Ano nga ba yon? So inquiring yung self-realization na kung anong dapat gawin. So i-reconnect ko ang sarili ko kay Krishna o sa supreme being or sa creator ko for in order for me to come back to Godhead. So that's the one thing, or that's the fortunate thing we can do, because actually here in this material world, whether it's what happening to us is whether it's good or bad, it's still unfortunate. Why? Because it still has the reaction of bondage. The moment that we desire, we plan to to live here, to be happy here, yes, we will stay here. But Prabhu, ano naman ngayon? Parang hirap naman yung sinasabi mo. The same desire, we just reconnect it to Krishna. If we just want to be happy, then alamin natin kung ano yung uh, activity or consciousness ng mga spiritualist or yung mga devotee ni Krishna. In that way, mabubuhay pa rin tayo ng masaya dito sa material world while being absorbed in Krishna consciousness. And actually sabi dito ni Sukadeva Goswami sa text 14 is, Maharaj Pariksit, now what you have to do, now your duration of life is limited to 7 days. So during this time, you can perform all those rituals which are needed for the best purpose of your next life. Yun nga yung sinasabi natin na we are the architect of our next life. And dinadala tayo nun ng consciousness natin, ng desire natin. Kung ano man yung desire natin, we will attain that without fail. Ngayon, kaya in the very first place, kaya tayo nagkaroon ng gantong body, particular body, because we desire this. Gusto ng mapayat, ng anything na lahat ng desire natin last life is ito na yung accumulation ng situation natin ngayon. Ngayon, if alam na natin na on and on lang pala yun, na it's just a cycle of birth and death kung magdi-desire tayo dito materially, then and anyway it's suffering somehow, then iano na natin, i-correct na natin yung consciousness. Anyway, still we are attached here, but those kinds of attachment we can ano yan, divert it or the same attachment, kung, kung talagang attached tayo, lalagyan lang natin ng Krishna consciousness. Like yung sinasabi ni Radhacharan Prabhu na we have all the zeros. And then nilalagay lang natin si Krishna, i-add lang natin si Krishna. Then magkakaroon ng value lahat yon. Meaning, sabi nga, kung ilagay mo sa huli si Krishna, less lang yung value nun, o magiging 10 lang or what. Pero kung nasa unahan, meaning, hindi second choice o hindi second lang si Krishna. Actually, siya yung una. Pag inuna natin yon, masasatisfy tayo actually. And magkakaroon ng value yung life natin. Yun nga yung sinabi niya lagi kong tumatak kasi sa utak ko yun sinabi ni Jim Carrey na ang desire niya is ang hiling niya kay Lord is gawin niya lahat yung tao na rich and famous. Bakit? For them to know that that is not the answer. Kasi kung titignan mo, okay, successful and all, ang daming mga successful na na hindi pa rin sila successful na. Then what? Anong next? Yun nga yung lagi sinasabi ni Radhacharan na kung may 1 million ka, gusto mo na naman ng next. It's endless. Gusto mo ng 2 million, gusto mo ng 3 billion, whatever. So walang endless o walang satisfaction. But if we try to satisfy the senses of Krishna, then magkakaroon tayo ng happiness within. So it's yeah, yun yung doon, isang lesson doon. And text 15 is, at the last stage of one's life, one should be bold enough not to be afraid of death, but one must cut off all attachment to the material body and everything pertaining to it, and all desires thereof. So, yun nga, habang we're trying to be Krishna conscious, at the same time, we're talagang kailangan turuan natin yung mind natin na i-detach yung sarili natin, because the moment na meron pa rin tayong desire to live or to be happy, to enjoy in this material world, mahihirapan tayo. Ngayon, mahirap talaga, lagi ko sinasabi, mahirap talaga mag-detach alone. Yung detachment, to practice detachment alone, mahirap yon. But to try to be attached to Krishna, madali na lang, gradually, naturally magiging detached tayo. Lagi sinasabi na hindi basta detached na iwanan ko na pamilya ko, bahala na sila. No. We just we just put Krishna conscious on everything we do for them. We try to save them. We try to educate them in a, kung gawin na lang natin sila mabuting tao, kung hindi talaga sila ma-connect sa Krishna consciousness, that's it. It's okay. Dahil naging devotee tayo, actually si Krishna din ang bahala sa kanila. And that, Brother Charan will take it away for now.
Yes, we are still here sa second canto and chapter 1, entitled First Step in God Realization. And Navadip Chandra Prabhu, thank you very much. Magandang realization nga yun na katulad ng sabi ni Sukadev Goswami kay Maharaj Pariksit. Anin mo yung hundreds of years of life kung wasted and inexperienced compared to dun sa a moment. A moment, napakasandali lang yun. Fraction of a second lang yung a moment na yun. Pero, full of consciousness of the Supreme. That is Krishna. Kasi without Krishna consciousness, we are just paikot-ikot lang dito sa life na to. And also, just want to emphasize in the text number 15, one should be bold enough not to be afraid of that. Wala na yung knock on wood. Alam mo yun, parang ayaw pag-usapan. Because we're just entertained, we're afraid. We don't know what will happen. Because foolish people, actually, Sri Prabhupada mentioned here, foolish materialistic men do not care about what is going to happen in the next life. They just want to eat, sleep, and be merry. Yan lang yung lifestyle na binibigyan nila ng pansin. And what do you expect from that? Nothing. Paulit-ulit na karma. And they don't care kung ano yung gagawin nila ngayon. Um, it will affect yung future lives nila. They don't want to believe it, by the way. So this kind of mentality gives room for a person to commit a lot of sinful activities. Basta matakasan lang nila yung law in this land, yung yung batas dito, pag natakasan nila yon, okay na. But no, it is not the fact. In all the Vedic scriptures, karma is there, reincarnation is there, and it will dictate what will happen to your next life. Ano yung body na makuha mo next life. Ano yung activities mo ngayon, that will be your next life. Very perfect example sa Mano Samhita, yung description ng mga karmic activities na ganito, and also in the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Oh, fawn eats the beef, meat of a cow. They call it beef. Part siya nung accomplishes ng killing of that cow. From the one who owns the slaughterhouse, from the one who killed the cow, from the one who transported it, who sold it, who cooked it, who prepared it, who served it, and those who will eat it. Lahat yun may karma. How many times siya magiging baka in the next lives? Kung gaano daw kadami yung hair sa likod ng baka. Isipin mo kung gaano kadami yun. Hindi ko lang kung may bumilang na, no? Pero gaano ka ilang beses ipapanganak uli doon sa form ng cow na yun, animal na yun. So yes, it is not mine. It is not Sir Prabhupada's law. It is coming from Manu Samhita. You talk to Manu if you have some problem with that. Si Manu is a progenitor galing kay Lord Brahma, and they wrote kung ano yung meron sa law of nature to help us understand. And if one doesn't believe in the future lives, you could see yung walang root yung values niya. Kanya-kanyang tama sa pananaw ng isang tao. Kanya-kanyang tama sa pananaw, kanya-kanyang mali sa pananaw ng bawat tao. Because they're just thinking, oh, this is kind for me, this is good for me. Or this is the right thing for me. Sa ibang tao, right thing sa kanya yon. So, it will not be fair for everyone. But that is the law of nature. Sir Prabhupada is mentioning here in the text number 15 that at the age of 50 years old, that should be the best warning for that. Ito yung parang King Pariksit na warning how 7 days, after 7 days, your death will come. Pag nag-reach daw tayo ng 50 years old, kailangan ay naisip natin. We are moving forward, walang atrasan, dun sa moment of death, which is ilang years na lang, di ba? Sorry to say, hindi na umaabot madalas ngayon yung 100 years. Kali-yuga, pababa ng pababa yan. You would see people under the age of 50 having a lot of sickness. Na dating-dati, after 50, yung mga heart attack, stroke, di ba? Diabetes. Ngayon, at the age of 30, meron ka na maririnig na may ganun sakit. So, a wise person sees yung number na to, yung age na to, as a warning for death. Also, a wiser person sees yung life na to kahit below 50 years old, iniisip niya, death is near. Hindi yung iniisip na, sa future na ako magtitino. Ang dami ko pang unfinished business. Ang dami ko pang kailangang i-discover. No, we don't have any assurance kung kailan yung death. And this life, like yung ina-advise dito ni Sukadeva Goswami and yung ginagawa mismo ni King Pariksit, he's preparing for his next life. Kasi if you did not prepare your whole life, next life mo, paulit-ulit ka dun sa mga iba't ibang body. And sinabi ni Sri Prabhupada dito, what is the best type of body? The best type of body natin sa next life is the spiritual body. To go back home, back to Godhead. Hindi para bumalik tayo rito, magpaulit-ulit ng life. There's a lot of risk. Even mapunta ka sa aristocratic life. Even mapunta ka sa Brahminical life or family and devotees, there's still a lot of risk. Our business now, and that is why meron tayong guidance ng guru. The business is to finish yung material life this lifetime. It is possible because we are in the express elevator of Krishna consciousness. And as we approach yung text number 16, Sukadeva Goswami will talk about the 8 limbs of yoga, Ashtanga yoga, but much more emphasis on the Bhakti yoga. So text number 16, one should leave home and practice self-control. In a sacred place, he should bathe regularly and sit down in a lonely place, duly sanctified. So Sukadeva Goswami is talking about yama niyama and asana. Yama is the things that you should not do, and niyama is the things that you should do, the rules and regulation. And of course, the asana. One should leave home. It means one should detach himself sa mga family relation. Again, this is on the last stage na sinasabi nila. You could still do it in the process of Bhakti Yoga, removing all the attachment. Pero, even you are with them, you could still be detached. Mahirap gawin yon. The only process to become attached kay Krishna. Then you will understand the role of a family member, of you being a family member, and a person in the society. One could function really well if he's not attached. So one should leave home. Then, kailangan niya mag-practice ng self-control. Practice ng mga control ng senses, ng mind. So that is niyama. So, kailangan gawin yung rules and regulation na to. Plus, one should sit in a lonely place, duly sanctified. So, it doesn't mean na yung practice ng asana, ideally, ang practice ng asana is in a lonely place. Hindi siya for a show. Hindi siya for a exhibition. That's the ideal. That's the ideal. Of course, during this time, ang daming ways and means to encourage others to practice yoga asana. You can still do that. Lalong-lalo na if you're teaching yoga and also teaching bhakti, connecting the yoga asana to bhakti. That is the best. That is the best. So, sinabi nga rito, bathe regularly. Ito na naman tayo, Radhacharan. Lagi na lang may ligo. Kala ko ba yoga philosophy? Ba't laging pinasabi magliligo? So, this is very important. Sabi nga, minimum 3 times a day. If you pass stool, you must bathe afterwards. And even winter, even summer, one should bathe. Sa India, pag winter doon, hindi lahat may heater. Yung mga sadhu, they bathe sa rivers. Kahit freezing cold temperature yung water, they have to bathe. Yogi nga eh. No sense control nga eh. It's easy for them. Kahit summer, ganun daw yung practice. Like yung mga magulang, yung mga nanay. Even na hirap sila, sobrang init. Sobrang init sa kitchen kasi sobrang summer. Pero magluluto pa rin siya para sa anak niya. And para kay Krishna. That is much better than yoga asana in the summer. O kaya yung ibang ginagawa na nagpapalibot sila ng fire. Tapos habang kainitan ng araw sa summer, doon sila mag-meditate sa gitna. Pero much better, if sobrang init sa kitchen, magluluto ka pa rin para kay Krishna. That is the best part ng practicing this austerity. So again, this is a preparation papunta sa next life. An intelligent person actually knows yung value ng reaching yung age na 50 because it's a sign that is coming. Pero, hindi lahat nung nag-renounce nagtutuloy-tuloy. Maraming napunta sa India to renounce, pero because of bad association, napupunta pa rin siya sa illicit activities, tapos biglang magpapamilya sila doon. That is the example of Srila Prabhupada. So that is important. Having the bad association is detrimental to our spiritual activities, to our spiritual progress. The best way, essential way to practice sense control is the practice of celibacy. So this is a very controversial topic. Kasi hindi lahat kaya gawin. So it doesn't mean, actually yung best na celibate is yung may asawa. They engage in this intercourse not just for sense gratification, but to produce a Krishna conscious child. I've met a lot of devotees who are in the Grihastha ashram, but much more strict in brahmachari life, in celibate life. And in that way, he could see they're much more peaceful. They're much more, how do you call it, living happily. Because they're doing it for Krishna. And the sense control is very easy. So you cannot see like andaming pseudo yogis. It is not just for flexing the bodies, stretching and folding. The sense control is very important. A lot of yogis who are claiming themselves to be teachers because of their certification, but when you see the lifestyle, they're fully engaged in sexual intercourse everywhere, illicitly. So it defies the real definition of a yogi. And madalas, ito yung mga ways paano na-water down yung system ng yoga. Because of those who practice, but not with quality. So ang daming that's why sobrang importante to find a genuine or bona fide guru because ang daming victim neto. Even themselves are being victim of these senses, not understanding fully, but just claiming the title. Ang dami kong, there's, laging kinukwento sa akin nung nasa India ako, ang daming usong-uso, the Kundalini. But you cannot perform Kundalini without practicing celibacy. Ano yung papaakati mo papunta sa utak mo? If you could see the logo ng medicine nung may snake na umakyat, that's the semen of a celibate student, celibate yogi. If wala ka nun kasi you're wasting, edi wala kang papakitin niya. Just like what? So, ang dami ko natutunan nung kinukwento sa akin ng mga yogi sa India yun. Oo nga, no? And it's scriptural. Hindi siya ginawa ng isang tao lang. It is written in the scriptures. So, it is easier said than done. And later, we will learn how to start that practice. Text number 17. After sitting in the above manner, make the mind remember the three transcendental letters Om, A-U-M. And by regulating the breathing process, control the mind so as not to forget the transcendental seed. So in the text number 17, Sukadev Goswami is talking about pranayama, the breathing process of yoga, part ng 8 limbs of yoga system. So you do the asana, you do the yama niyama for one to be able to sit and practice the asanas, the pranayama. And meditate on the word, the letters Om, A-U-M. Because this Omkara, the pranava, is also Krishna. It is actually non-different kay Vishnu. So take note, Krishna and Vishnu is different. Krishna is the supreme cause of all causes. He is the fountainhead of the Vishnu Tattvas. Vishnu is an expansion of Krishna. But he is not full in all qualities, same as Krishna. So if one, even a yogi, meditates on Krishna within, he is seeing Vishnu. And if one is meditating on Om, the syllable Om, he is meditating kay Lord Vishnu. He is, yung pag-meditate sa word na Om, sa syllable na Om, is connecting kay Krishna mismo, pero indirectly, kasi dadaan pa kay Vishnu. Just like calling you by the name of Mr. The process of Bhakti Yoga is knowing the personal form, personal name ni Krishna, which is Krishna. Om is the general name of God. So that's why it's the process. Yung sa 8 limbs of yoga system, part din siya ng yoga ladder. They are on the part na they haven't been practicing or di pa sila nakaka-step up dun sa Bhakti Yoga. But this time, kinokonekta ni Sukadev Goswami tong 8 limbs of yoga system sa Bhakti Yoga. So if one practices the pranayama, the control of the air, hindi lang yung breath ng air, maraming air sa loob ng katawan. We will learn that, I think, sa 3rd canto ng Srimad Bhagavatam. It will be explained by Lord Kapila, I believe, sa Sankhya philosophy. So the practice of meditating of the Omkara, and it was mentioned here, to control the mind as not to forget the transcendental seed. So, how about this? Yes. So there's something again. So, I'll read it again. Gradually, as the mind becomes progressively spiritualized, we draw it from the sense activities, and by intelligence, the senses will be controlled. The mind to absorb in material activities can be engaged in the service of the personality of Godhead and become fixed in full transcendental consciousness. So this, Srila Sukadev Goswami is talking about pratyahara, withdrawing the senses, and dharana, fixing the mind. So saan mo i-fix yun? Fix the mind to the transcendental consciousness, to Krishna. So this is very hard kapag gagawin natin to without Krishna consciousness, just withdrawing the senses. A lot of saintly persons who meditated on a lonely place, ma-agitate sila by simple things. It's either on the mind. Even there is a Saurabh Muni, in Yamuna, nagtago siya doon for years and years sa ilalim ng water. Mga yogi sila, so hindi na question kung paano sila nakakahinga sa ilalim. Yogi sila doon. So, ayun yung nangyari. Pero he was actually disturbed by seeing may dalawang fish na nag-intercourse. Because artificially, just withdrawing the senses is not good. Hindi yun yung goal ng pagiging yogi. The best process is to engage the senses, dovetailing it to Krishna consciousness. That is the best way, and not suppressing it. Kasi kakawala lang siya. Ang daming nag-meditate to nothingness, to impersonalism. You'll feel depressed, you'll feel empty. Kasi that's the meditation, and you're suppressing the senses. Yung iba nag-meditate lang, pero they don't try to control the senses, so that's much worse. So, text number 19. So, this is few of the remaining limbs of yoga system. Thereafter, you should meditate upon the limbs of Vishnu, one after another, without being deviated from the conception of the complete body. Thus, the mind becomes free from all sense objects. There should be no other thing to be thought upon, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, is the ultimate truth. The mind becomes completely reconciled in Him only. So, dhyana is the complete absorption in meditation, and hindi ka mag-meditate sa nothingness. Here, Srila Sukadeva Goswami is saying, meditate on the limbs of Krishna. That's why when we are having darshan kay Krishna, we always meditate on the lotus feet first going up. Each limbs. And this is actually the representation ng buong universe, Krishna's universal form, the material universal form. That is part of it. The whole planetary system is under Krishna. Even nga kung alam mo yun sa pastime sa Krishna book, pagbukas ni Krishna kasi kumakain daw siya ng dirt. Yung buong universe ng material universe andoon sa mouth ni Krishna. So same. So one should meditate on Krishna. That's why we are personalists. It's a big help for us. It will remove the misconception of the impersonalism because we are meditating and directing our process of yoga to Krishna. In that way, one will be completely reconciled. One will experience samadhi. This is the last part ng limbs ng yoga system, samadhi. One is directly connecting to Krishna from within with that meditation. So again, that's Lord Vishnu or Chirodakashayi Vishnu, the super soul. So if a yogi attains this stage, one is very near papunta sa Bhakti Yoga. Kasi natapos na niya yung 8 limbs of yoga system. He is not bewildered by the mystic powers. Mind you, dun sa 8 limbs of yoga system, di sinabi dun na focus on the mystic powers. Byproduct lang yun. If one is doing this, the sense control, the meditation and all, automatic lalabas yun. Some could meditate to have that mystic powers, pero that's not the goal. Yung real yogi, they will just disregard this and then they will just focus on the Krishna from within. Pero, a Bhakti yogi, di nila kailangan daanan lahat to. Because merong express elevator of Bhakti Yoga. Text number 20 and 21, I'll read it both. Thereafter, you should meditate upon, text number 20. One's mind is always agitated by the passionate mode of material nature and bewildered by the ignorant mode of nature. But one can rectify such conceptions by the relation of Vishnu and thus become pacified by cleansing the dirty things created by them. Text number 21. O King, by the system of remembrance and by being fixed in habit of seeing the all-good personal conception of the Lord, one can very soon attain devotional service to the Lord under His direct shelter. This is also pertaining to dharana, bumalik sa dharana, because it is the fixedness on the meditation kay Krishna. So one could step up, papunta sa Bhakti Yoga, papunta sa devotional service to Krishna. So this is the 8 limbs of yoga system, which is much more in detail, ng sinabi ni Sukadeva Goswami, how we could practice or how we could step up papunta sa Bhakti Yoga. Navadip Chandra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So now we are in the text 22. And it says here that the fortunate king, King Parikshit, inquiring further said, O Brahmana, please describe me in full detail how and where the mind has to be applied and how the conception can be fixed so that the dirty things in a person's mind can be removed. Uh, basahin ko na lahat. Text 23. Sukadeva Goswami answered, one should control the sitting posture, regulate the breathing, and by the process of yogic pranayam, and thus the control the mind and senses with the intelligence apply the mind to the gross potency of the Lord called Virat Rupa. 24. This gigantic manifestation of the phenomenal material world as a whole is the personal body of the absolute truth, wherein the universal resultant past, present, and future of material time is experienced. And then 25, The gigantic universal form of the personality of Godhead within the body of universal shell, which is covered by sevenfold material elements, is subject for the Virat conception. Okay, tinatanong ni Maharaj Pariksit na paano yung please instruct me how to what is the process to remove things from the mind. And actually sa purport ni Prabhupada na sa text 22 na yung root cause of all troubles for the living entity, uh, yun yung matinding mga dirty things. These dirty things are the concocted desires for pleasure that the jiva has accumulated during the long prison life in this material world. But instead of this desire providing peace of mind, Srila Prabhupada states that create a new problems and thus bind him to the cycle of repeated birth and death. Now, the question is, how can this desire be removed from the heart and mind? The answer is only by associating with the Supreme Lord. Those who can perceive only matter and are unable to pin their faith on the personal features of the Absolute are given a chance to associate with his Viratrupa. Ano yung Viratrupa na sinasabi dito sa text 24 and 25? Um, Viratrupa is yung impersonal, yung features ni Krishna dito sa material world na uh, actually hindi tinatanong to ni Sukadev Goswami, not for him, it's for us, because actually he is already Krishna conscious. How? Because in the very beginning, lagi nga sinasabi na pariksit means examining. Lagi nga in-examine, ito ba si Krishna yung nag-save sa akin? So lagi siya absorbed kay Krishna ever since. Pero etong klase ng tanong niya is for the people na paano yung hindi makapag-fix? Ano yung unang nilang pwedeng gawin? Okay, kung ano kasi yung tayo is kung ano yung nakikita natin, kung ano yung present, yun yung pinaniniwalaan natin. Kasi is to believe. Kung ano yung nasa harap natin, yun, anduron yung faith ko. Mahirap sa akin yung sinasabi mong binabasa sa scripture na hindi maarok ng mind ko, hindi maabot ng mind ko, medyo mahirap sa akin yan. So, anong pwede kong gawin? So, sabi nga dito na yung gigantic manifestation of phenomenal material world as a whole is a personal body of the absolute truth. So, yung mga trees, mga hair niya daw yan, yung mga lakes, yun yung navel niya, yung sun and moon, yun yung eyes niya. So, pag nakita natin yung creation ni Krishna, dahil naka-absorb nga tayo dito, at kinonect natin sa kanya na, ito siya pala yan. Eyes niya pala yan. Parang ano lang yan eh, yung, di ba, absorb tayo sa mga beloved natin. Pag nakita natin na may magandang damit sa mall, ay gusto yan ng anak ko eh. Ay gusto yan ni ganito. Ay paborito niya yung kulay yan. Laging connected yung absorption natin dun sa beloved natin. So andoon yung consciousness natin na ay makabili nga ako ng ganito na paborito niyang kainin to eh. So mamaya sa bahay iuwi ko ma-please siya. Lahat ng connection, lahat ng sobrang absorb tayo doon sa features or sa gusto o sa paano ma-please yung beloved natin. And that is Krishna. So, eto, yun nga, pero, ang isa pa dito is, yun nga, ito yung, kumbaga, stepping stone for us to fix our mind kung talagang absorb tayo dito sa material world. Pero, yun nga, sabi nga ni Radha is yung merong mga detailed or much higher pa or much more personal. Sabi dito, Sukadev Goswami, where one should focus on the mind, then the yogic practice one should control his mind and senses. Then, its intelligence one should apply his mind to the gross potency of code, yun nga, Viratrupa, this gigantic manifestation of phenomenal material world as a whole, a personal body of the absolute truth, wherein the universal resultant, past, present, and future of material time is experienced. Um, Isa pang yung pinaka-direct na pwede o sabihin natin, ano ba talaga yung pinaka the best or the higher? Kasi even si Krishna sinabi niya sa Bhagavad Gita na oh, I am the taste in the water. I am the ocean. I am this and marami siyang sinabi ng mga opulence niya na siya din 'yon. So kung nakikita natin lahat 'yon, yun nga. Okay, mayroon chance tayong maging absorb sa kanya. Pero sabi dito sa Bhagavad Gita, text chapter 12, sinimulan niya sa text 8. Just fix your si Krishna yung nagsasalita dito from the Bhagavad Gita text 8. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. So yon, fix your mind, una. And then, lahat ng intelligence natin, gamitin natin sa Kanya. I-fix natin sa Kanya. My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, ngayon, Krishna, ang hirap nun eh. Kung saan talaga ako nandirito ngayon, kung ano yung nakikita ko, doon ako naka-absorb eh. Sabi niya, O Arjuna, winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, naguguluhan ka, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, you will develop to desire attain me. Lahat si Krishna, mayroong paraan na dahil merciful siya sa atin, ginagawa niya ng paraan na yung kung ano man yung level of consciousness natin, yung level natin, binibigyan niya tayo ng option na kung hanggang saan tayo, o sige, kaya pa rin yan. So, mahirap pa rin. Alam mo, hindi ko pa rin ang hirap i-follow ng four regulative principle o yung principles of Bhakti and all. So, anong gagawin ko? Text 10 ng chapter 12, text 10. If you cannot practice the regulation of Bhakti, then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. Kung ano na lang yung ginagawa natin, gawin natin para kay Krishna. Kung inaalagaan natin yung mga anak natin, ginagawa natin yun for them to become Krishna conscious, ihahatid natin sila kay Krishna. Okay, nagtatrabaho tayo para kay Krishna. Not just to eat, not just to be happy, but i-connect natin yung lahat ng kung hindi tayo talaga maging Krishna conscious is we work for Krishna. Hindi pa rin, medyo nahirapan pa rin ako. Ito, text 11. If however you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act, giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. Ayun. Yung results of work, wala. Focus ako sa work ko, hindi ko talagang maisip si Krishna. Para ma-purify ang work na yan, yung results of work. Then, kaya maraming mga agent or mga nagdo-donate. Focus sila sa pero ang pinaka main na devotional service nila mag-donate kasi mapupurify yun eh. Mapupurify yung results ng work na yun. Then gradually babalik tayo doon sa magiging absorbed tayo kay Krishna kasi sabi nga ni si Ambarish Ford, yung grandson ni Henry Ford na may-ari ng Ford Motors is where you put your money, yung attention mo, yung focus mo mapupunta doon. So, pinut niya yung money niya doon sa Temple of Vedic Planetarium. Ito na lang, sabi niya, kung hindi mo kayang ibigay yung result of work, if you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of fruits of action by which the renunciation one can attain peace of mind. So yun, isang ano doon is mag-cultivate tayo ng knowledge. We read, we associate with devotees. And sabi nga, at isa pa doon, yung pinaka-last is, wag ka na lang sabi, one who is not envious, but it's kind to a friend, to all living entities, uh, not think himself a proprietor, and free from all false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant. Marami siya sinabi. Ang point lang doon is, huwag ka na lang mang-hurt. Huwag ka na lang gumawa ng kasalanan. Huwag kang mang-hurt. Doon, pag payos ka, magkakaroon, madali kang magkaroon ng knowledge, ng realization. Pag nagkaroon ka ng realization, malalaman mo kung ano yung tama at mali, na ano yung dapat mong i-gawin natin connection with Krishna. So, babalik na naman tayo doon. So, lahat tayo may kalalagyan doon sa klase ng consciousness natin, sa level natin. Lahat yon ginagawa, pinafacilitate ni Krishna for us to go back home, back to God. Ganon siya ka-merciful. Walang walang paraan. Laging may paraan. So, that's it for now. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. Even si Sukadev Goswami is explaining kay Maharaj Pariksit in detail how to live this life, talking about his yoga system and how one in different stages sa kanilang devotion, like yung example ni Navadip Chandra sa 12th chapter ng Bhagavad Gita. Kung nasang stage ka, lahat may way na binigay si Krishna to be engaged fully sa kanya. So, lahat may chance. Equal si Krishna just like the sun. Pag sumikat yung araw, kung saan yung designated area, kung saan sa tamang sunshine, bibigay niya lahat yun. Pantay-pantay. So, nasa atin lang kung lalabas tayo or magtatago tayo sa shadow. So, Krishna also gave a lot of ways and means. There's 100 ways, 1,000 ways, or 1,000,000 ways how to re-establish that connection kay Krishna. Kaya yung yoga system is there. Yoga means to connect. So, we need to be connected kay Krishna. And by the guidance, of course, ng scriptures, ng devotees, we could really connect and not just whimsically invent things. Grantarat Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glorious assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. So, bukas tutuloy natin yung ating discussion. We will be starting sa text number 26. And paganda na paganda yung mga topics natin kasi mas maintindihan natin yung mga usapan nila with the topic ng planetary system. Yung sabi na universal form ni Krishna and ano yung nag-represent ng mga limbs niya sa different planets. Ang ganda kasi talaga na itong second canto talking about the cosmic manifestation. It was being passed down thousands of years ago, this Srimad Bhagavatam. And what we have now, the mga astronomers and all, lately lang nila binibilang, lately lang nila i-discover. So the real authority is the scriptures. And a lot of the mga nag-aaral na ito is just also reconfirming it sa mga Vedas. So if you do your research, you will see that. Sila Carl Sagan and all. Anyway, thank you very much, my dear ones. Good morning. Please finish your rounds today. Please be Krishna conscious and continue to do our sadhana. Maraming salamat. Good morning. Namadev Chandra Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Chandrika Radha Mataji Diva, Moksha Lakshmi Mataji, Bhakta Rolly, Bhakta Oliver, Bhakta Paolo, Bhakta Jonah, Bhakta Naini, Hare Bol, Diva Prabhu. Hare Krishna, thank you.